and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been quite a few months actually. It's been quite a while since I've been active, but that is because I was doing my teacher training. So I'm now officially a qualified secondary PE and dance teacher. Get in. And yeah, there's been loads happening, obviously with lockdowns and teaching online and all this. It's been very difficult, but we're back. We're gonna aim for once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. I'll try and work that out, but we're gonna aim to be back up as normal. So today we're gonna have a little Q&A. So we've got a selection of questions to come. So, number one, are you in a relationship? I am in a relationship. I have been in a relationship for, well, it'll be 3 years in September. So I'm very happily taken. Okay, my favourite animal, I would have to say probably a dog. Yeah, I would say so. My least favourite is definitely like a rat. I don't like rats at all. Like, I'm not scared of most things. Like, I'll deal with spiders, I'll deal with snakes, I'll deal with anything. Apart from rats, I cannot stand them. If there's a rat coming towards me, I'm pegging it the other way. So my favourite, I would say a dog, and my least favourite, definitely a rat. Not a fan. Okay, my favourite colour. My favourite colour is definitely baby blue. Yeah, that's a very simple question. There's not much to say about that. It's just baby blue. Okay, so 2021 goals. So this year, obviously last year was a bit of a stinker. I don't even consider last year a year. Let's just pretend it was a month the way it was going. Okay, 2021 goals. So I have just completed my teacher training. So I am obviously a fully qualified teacher. So that's one of my goals that I've already achieved. Well, actually it was my main goal for 2021. And then to get back into work, which slowly is happening. Obviously after lockdowns it's quite hard, especially being self-employed. So because I'm a dance teacher outside of the education sector, so I do community dance teaching. Obviously getting back out into there was completely different to school guidelines, so we still couldn't go back when schools had gone back, and we still can't do much. Like, I've got to keep my kids 3 meters socially distanced, whereas on a bus they can sit next to each other on a school. So yeah, it's a bit silly, but guidelines are guidelines. So obviously I have to get back into that. That was another one of my goals, which is slowly getting better. A big one was getting a job for September. So one of my big goals this year was getting a full-time job for September in a school teaching either PE or dance. That hasn't gone great because after the pandemic, obviously being a teacher, it's a government secure job. So everybody doesn't really want to leave their job at the moment because they're getting pension, it's government secured, so they're not going to lose it if we go back into another lockdown. So a lot of people are a lot more reluctant this year to take away from their jobs, which is obviously harder for us going into them. So we'll see how that goes, but right now that's going to... But hopefully, fingers crossed, still putting applications in, still getting interviews, so hopefully we'll get somewhere. If not, I'll be a supply teacher. Other goals for 2021. So to be honest, just to spend as much time as I can living my life. So right now, again, gotten phew, because I'm self-isolating. So I've tested negative, I'm not positive, but I was in contact with somebody who's been positive. So from last Friday, I'm isolating for 10 days. Completely takes away my plan of, I've got a 3-week gap between my course and starting summer work. Now I don't, I've got about a week and a half. So kind of ruined my plans a bit, because I just wanted to get out, see people that obviously I haven't really been able to do in the last year. Go and do things, be involved with like my friends' children's lives, and yeah, I just want to live my life. I want to go on holiday, I want to go away, I want to do stuff with my boyfriend, I want to explore the world, explore different experiences. I just want to do a lot. Obviously most of it's not going to happen this year, but I'm doing the Race for Life. I want to do a skydive next year. I was going to do that this year, but with coronavirus and my course and stuff, it just didn't really happen. So I'm hoping for that next year. Fingers crossed. Okay, next one. Do you want kids, and if so, how many? I do want kids. not right now. I mean, a lot of my friends are having, I'm kind of at the age, obviously I'm 24, I'm kind of at the age where people are starting to get pregnant, people are starting to have kids, like a lot of my friends have got kids. But right now, I'm more career driven, so I don't want to bring a child into the world until I've financially settled, until I've got a nice house. I want things in place before I have children. But yeah, so I want to eventually, but definitely not right now. I'm going to get my career out of the way. Obviously I've got early career teaching, which is 2 years. So I've got to do that first. But yeah, so I do want 2 children, but definitely not yet. Best place you've been to on holiday? I would say the best place, I would say Disneyland. So I've been to Disneyland in Florida, and that was definitely my favourite holiday. I was young, I wasn't young, but I was younger. So I can't necessarily remember every little detail that happened. But it was definitely the best place I've ever been, and I cannot wait to go back. I got quite a few questions about yoga. So when did I start yoga? So I actually started yoga when I was at university, so 5 years ago? Yeah, 5 years ago. Was when I actually started my practice, but I didn't start it as yoga, so I didn't just go to a yoga class. It was actually integrated into my dance technique classes. So for example, we might do a yoga warm-up, we might do a yoga cool down at the end, or we might just have a little mindfulness in the middle, or we might meditate and we just sit there and meditate for the whole thing to like take the pressure of the university off. So that's actually where I got into it, and I just think from that I was very I had very, very poor mental health at this point. So the year before, my best friend committed suicide, and then I went to university the year after when I was depressed, I was anxious, I wasn't mentally ready to go to university in the slightest. Obviously if other things hadn't happened then I would have, but mentally I was not prepared to go to university. So when I got there, everything kind of went downhill, and doing yoga in dance classes made me go, oh okay, this is actually making me feel a bit better. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do it at home, so I'm going to start my own yoga practice. And then from there I just fell in love with it. I was doing it every day. It was increasing my flexibility for dance, it was increasing my mental health, so it was giving me a bit of a clearer mind and a bit of a positive outlook to life and a bit more mindfulness. So it was a lot more helpful for me to practice yoga because it was just helping me physically and mentally. So yeah, and then I just never stopped, I guess is the easiest way to put it. I just never stopped. Like I've been doing it close to every day. I've been trying to do it every day. Obviously with my course bumping up and essays and things, it's been a bit harder recently, but that was only a couple of months. I'm back into it now, luckily. But yeah, it was just a massive benefit for my physical and mental health. So I was just like, well, instantly, if this is helping my head, if this is helping me go, okay, you may feel like this, but look at it like this. That was all from yoga, which is crazy to say, I know, when people are like, there's no way that made you feel better, but it did. And then once the first lockdown came in March 2020, I decided, you know what, I'm a dance teacher, I'm a flexibility coach, why am I not a yoga teacher? So I then did my teacher training through the first lockdown. So obviously it was online because it was through lockdown, but I got qualified. I am a yoga teacher. Obviously it's not as much training as I would have liked to get, so I still want to go and do a yoga retreat, so maybe like a 3-day stay somewhere and get another teacher qualification. So I got that last March, that was March 2020, and yeah, we're a year and a bit on now. I run one-to-one yoga sessions, so if anybody would like yoga coaching or me to set sequences, exercises, help you where you want to be, I am here. Give me a message, give me a DM on Instagram, which is on the screen now, and And yeah, we'll sort that out for you. So next question. Okay, how did you get started into everything you do? Okay, this is going to be a difficult one. So obviously I've just gone over how I got into yoga. Dance I got into when I was 3. So I actually started ballet when I was 3 years old. Maybe 4. 3 or 4. And yeah, from there, I mean, I never stopped. So I did my grades, my RAD grades, which is the Royal Academy of Dance. I did those ballet grades and I finished my grade 8. I got all my grades from ballet, and when I went to secondary school, so I finished, ballet was obviously all the way through my life until year 13. I think it was, no, year 12 I passed grade 8, I think it was. So yeah, I did ballet from then, and then when I went to secondary school, I started doing hip-hop, contemporary, everything, point, the whole lot. So that just opened obviously a broader door to dance. So I had more genres and more to do, as opposed to just thinking about ballet. I could have gone and been a ballerina if I wanted to. I was definitely like the right weight and blah blah blah. I didn't have the flexibility I should have done to be a ballerina. But dance is a tough one. The dance world's incredibly difficult. There's so many aspects to being a dancer that people don't realise. Contemporary's a lot more open. You can be whoever you want to be in contemporary. But some of, like commercial as well, some of it's just very, very, very tough. If you want to be a dancer, do it. Follow your dreams. The passion you get when you're performing, the adrenaline you get when you're performing, trust me, it's better than any other feeling. But don't be naive and think you can go and get a dance job straight away, because trust me, it's a lot harder than people think, especially when you're growing up. Even to get into a dance school, even to get into a conservatoire, it's a lot more difficult. Even if you're a very talented dancer, you might not be what they're looking for on that day. For example, I went to an audition. My teacher and the founder of the school were like, "You're amazing, like you're gonna get this." I didn't. It could have been because they wanted a blonde on that day. Could have been they wanted somebody shorter, they wanted somebody taller. It can be anything. It's so difficult. So if you do want to be a dancer, just be aware. But yeah, that's how I got into dance. And then I started teaching for that academy when I was probably about 14. And then after that, I went to university. I did a dance degree at university, and then obviously started my PGCE. Sport, I've always been involved in. I've always been like an avid sportswoman. But teaching PE, I'd say, came all the way through school. It was always my favourite lesson, and I always loved the idea of keeping people fit and keeping people moving, even if they necessarily don't always want to. And I think for me, being a PE teacher is just having the passion for the teaching itself, but also seeing the children's growth. So for example, I get such like a warm heart when one of my students who's like, "I really don't want to do this, I'm scared, I've got anxiety, I don't want to do this." And then the next lesson they're joining in and they're doing it, and they've got the skill, and you can see they're happy. I think the growth and the inspiration I give onto my students, I just think it's so rewarding. So yeah, that's where I've come from. That's how I got into it, and obviously it's definitely the most rewarding job. And it also just fills you with such like, what's the word? Fills you with such like warmth, and like, I feel like, I don't know what it is. It's just a great job. Which yoga pose do you find most tricky? A few. I'm really working on my handstands at the moment, so I'm trying to keep them held, but oh god. But that's not, I wouldn't say I find them the most tricky. I'd say they're definitely hard. It's definitely hard to find the balance and control, but I'd say the most tricky for me is anything with my back. So like camel or the wheel, anything like that, it just sends my back obviously my back's not very flexible. I need to work on it really badly, but I just can't do it. I slipped a disc in the lumbar part of my back when I was it wasn't when I was really young, it was only like a few years ago, but I slipped a disc right in my lumbar, and since then my back's just never been the same. It jars, sometimes I'm leaning down and I just can't get back up. So yeah, most tricky is definitely anything with the back, but that's because of a previous injury that hasn't fully recovered. So once that fully recovers, hopefully then I can start working on my back more, and yeah, we'll get it. But what type of yoga exercises work for someone with back pain and who isn't very flexible? So what I've just been saying, there are loads and loads of different poses that will help the back. I would start easier, so I wouldn't go straight in with the wheel poses, and I wouldn't go straight in with like a forearms down where your feet are on the floor so your back's completely bent, back bends, anything like that. I wouldn't go with that straight away. I would work first of all in stretching the back, so maybe on a wall, put your hands behind you and lean backwards. That's a good one to stretch your back out. Also, obviously, lifesaver for the back is cobra and half cobra. So cobra, oh god, how am I going to do this on here? So you've got cobra is this one, hands on the floor, hips on the floor. You've got half cobra, so you're there with your arms on the floor. Those are great for stretching out your back, and obviously when you're not very flexible, you plans after lockdown, making some money. Obviously you're living on student finance for a year, again 5 years in total. My bank account is not too healthy right now, in fact it's pretty much in the bin. So my plans obviously after lockdown, and lockdown's finished now, so my plans after coronavirus, I guess, is just to get back to work, get back teaching. I want to start my own business, but yeah, I just want to live. I don't know. My plans are just do whatever you can, live your life, and then worry about the consequences later. That's what I think anyway. What are good stretches for stiff hips? So stiff hips, bound eagle's great. So palms of your feet together, making a diamond out of your legs, push your knees down to the floor. That's a great one for hips. The frog, so your lead on your tummy and your legs are kind of in a square behind you. That's a great one. Other hips, sitting in second position, so sitting here with your legs out, great one. On the wall, put your feet up on the wall and then just split them. That's another great one. Even just like opening and closing, so just moving the hip like this will do you some good. Holding up like this, holding it out to the side, lying on your back, lifting your leg up, lying on your back, lifting your legs out to the side. There's loads you can do. If you go on my Instagram, I will put a hip, I think I've already got one actually, there is one on my Instagram, so if you go over, there is a stiff hips section on there, but I will also do another one soon because it was quite a while ago, so I will put one on next week, maybe this week actually by the time this video comes out. Thank you all for watching, I really appreciate it. I hope you've learnt more about me. If you need any one-to-one coaching, any yoga advice, flexibility advice, dance classes, anything like that, head over to my Instagram, send me a DM, and I'll get back to you. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your week, and hopefully I'll be back either weekly or every 2 weeks. I'll work it out as we go along. Hopefully weekly as we go, but we'll see. But yeah, thanks everybody, and see you soon.